In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your AC condenser on your Mercedes-Benz C300. It's located behind the bumper. Before disconnecting any AC lines, you're going to want to get the system discharged. So you're going to go down to your local shop and have them do that for you. We're going to remove this cover first. You're just going to pull up on it and set it aside. And now we're going to remove these two airflow tubes. Ours are not correct. Yours should just unhook from here. And right here is another tab where you'd push in and pull this off. Do that for the other side as well. Again, ours is broken. We're going to remove our lines out of these plastic brackets to begin. There's one on this side as well. Ours is broken, so we're just going to move that over there. Remove this fastener in the middle here. Ours is missing. We'll have to replace that when we reinstall. And then we're going to go to the side brackets and take those out. Right here on both sides, there's a plastic bracket where you just took the cable out of. There's a tab if you feel underneath. Push it back towards you, and then you're going to pull forward with the plastic and up, and that's going to unhook it from this little square metal bracket. Do the same on the other side. We're going to unhook it from this middle bracket here too. To do that, you're going to pick up on it and push down, and then it will release. Do the same on the other side. It's broken on ours. Now you have an option. You can either take this bolt out, which I find easier, or you can unhook your grill from this plastic piece. Problem with that is it's old and plastic with age doesn't really mix. So I'm going to take out my bolt. Using a 10mm socket, we're going to take out this bolt. There's one on the other side as well. We're going to remove our engine splash shield. I'm using an 8mm socket to do that. This is not original bolts. Use what you have. Should be one more on the other side. Before removing your bumper cover, you do want to take out your fog lights. To do that, you're going to turn the bulb and pull it out. Just be careful of the bulb itself and let that hang. Also, there's a fastener here that's missing on our car. Looks like our car's been in a pretty good accident. Now we're going to go to our fender liner and remove the fasteners that are along the edge. Let's remove these 3 grommets. I'm using a trim tool. Pull this away. I'm going to run my trim tool up and get it past that lip. Once we're there, you can either bungee cord this over the wheel, or you can take it out completely. Remove your bulb from this right here. We're going to take out these 2 bolts here. There's 2 on this side and 2 on the other side. We're going to use a 10mm socket for that. Do the same on the other side. And then you're also gonna have a fastener underneath. Ours is broken, so we're gonna show you on the other side. So now we're on the right side of the bumper where our support is still intact. We're gonna undo this fastener. I don't believe this is stock, but whatever you have there, remove. I'm gonna use an 8mm and remove this. Once you get all your fasteners undone, you're gonna start pulling the bumper off by just pulling it forward. Once you unhook the two sides, you're gonna pull the bumper off. Using a 10mm socket, we're gonna take off these two bolts so we can remove this rod. I'm gonna use a 10mm wrench on the nuts. I'm using a ratchet wrench, 10mm. Now we're going to disconnect our AC lines. We're going to use an E10 inverted Torx bit socket. There's one here, and there's a line also underneath on the other side. Once you take the bolt out, there's an O-ring in there. You're going to want to spin it a little bit and release. Now we're going to just move this line out of the way so it doesn't interfere with what we're doing, and set your bolt aside. Now we're going to separate our power steering cooling system here. There's 4 tabs that we're going to look at. One here, 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 and here. What you're going to do is push in on both pads, and then you're going to pull out. Now we're going to pinch here and remove the power steering cooling line. You're going to do the same thing for all 4 tabs. There's another pinch tab here and one on the other side as well. Pinch with your needle nose and separate your condenser from your radiator. Do the same on the other side. Now we're underneath the car on the driver's side. This is the fan, the radiator, and the condenser. We're going to unplug this, push it on that tab, unplug it, and now we're going to disconnect this line. I'm just going to put this plug over here, out of the way. You might have to do a little swiveling and remove the line. If you need to, you can pry a little bit. Just don't dent the line itself. It is aluminum, so be careful. So now we're going to take the condenser out. Everything's disconnected except for the fact that it's still locked in with this radiator. I do want to point out one thing, and that is this car has been in an accident and this bumper area has been pushed in. So it's making it a little tighter to get this condenser out on our vehicle. That being said, if you have not been in an accident, your condenser will come out much easier. So in order to get the condenser out, you're going to push down first to unhook it from the radiator, and then after it's past this hook underneath, which is right in here next to the horns, It's going to slide down. Of course, yours is going to slide a lot easier than ours. You're going to put a screwdriver in here, and you're going to lower down the condenser. Make sure your power steering cooler lines are not in the way. So just keep checking in up there. And once you unhook this from the radiator, we're going to remove this plastic piece to give more room for the condenser to come out. To do that, you're going to unhook it by pushing up on that and pulling it out. Do the same on the other side. So once you take that out on both sides, you do have a wire here. You're just going to go over here and add it to the bungee cord you already have, holding the fender liner up. That way you don't have to disconnect it. Now we're going to drop down the condenser to get it past this hook, and then we're going to pick up the condenser and pull it out. We're using a pry bar because of the accident. You probably don't have to. All right, let's remove our condenser. Now we're going to install our condenser. Let's slide it down. You're going to aim with the bottom part in. Just be careful of your radiator. Once you've dropped your condenser down, you're now going to pick it up and hook it into the radiator bracket. Here, so you're just going to pick it up and make sure it's locked in. Make sure you do it on the other side as well at the same time. Once you have your condenser in and locked in on the bottom, you're going to push it into the radiator and clip it in. Now we're going to put our power steering cooling line back on the back of the condenser. To do that, you're going to push them in here. There's 4 of them. Click it in, click it in, click it in, click it in. Now's a good time to check your O-rings on your condenser lines, your AC lines, and put some PAG oil on the O-rings if they're in good shape, or change the O-rings if they're not in good shape. We're going to insert them in and get your bolt started. I'm going to torque my line to my condenser with 80 inch-pounds. Now let's go underneath and connect the other line. Using a 27 millimeter long socket, we're going to transfer this over to the new condenser. Once you get it going, you can use your hands, spin it off. Now we're going to remove this plug so we can put that in. I'm using a 17 millimeter socket and an extension to take this out. Put some PAG oil on the O-ring and install it. I'm going to thread it in. Definitely thread it in by hand first and then snug it up. If you can get a socket and a torque wrench in there, you're going to torque it to 80 inch-pounds. Otherwise, I'm going to use a wrench on ours because it doesn't fit. 27 millimeter and just snug it up. Just be careful not to over tighten if you're not torquing it. Plug it in. Just make sure it's facing the right way and it fits. You're going to hear a click. There we go. Remove your plug. Put some PAG oil on your O-ring. Make sure your O-ring looks good. If not, replace it. Ours looks good. Insert it in. Make sure it's seated properly. And then we're going to put our bolt in. It looks like this condenser has 2 applications, so you will see another hole for a different application. Just ignore it and tighten it down. We're going to torque this to 80 inch-pounds as well. Let's torque it. That should be good. You're going to line up these 2 holes that are on top. If your grill pops out, just put it back in. Again, our bump is broken, so it's a little tougher to get it in there. You're gonna go to one side and line it up. Let's put our bolts in. I have the bumper lined up with the grill. We're gonna use these bolts and put them in on each corner. So one here and one on the other side. Do the same on the other side. Pull your bumper away a little bit and insert your bulbs where they belong. This one's for the hazards or the blinker lights. Twist it into place. And you're going to want to put your fog light back in if you have them. And that's through here. Insert your fog light. You're going to be lining up the tabs and turning it into the socket. So you got to push it in far enough so it gets past that O-ring and then twist it. Lock it in place. Now you can put your fender liner into where it lives and just get it up. We're going to be attaching these bolts up here once the engine splash shield is in place. So now we're going to slide this bumper into this grommet. I'm going to push it in from the other side. Once you're locked in over here, do the same on the other side. Put your bulbs in on the other side, and once you're done with that, you're going to line up your bolt up here. There's 2 little plastic pieces that fit into a groove, and then you can get your bolt started. I'm going to stop mine by hand. Ours is a little wonky because of the accident it was in. Yours should line right up. Once you get your 2 bolts started, you can tighten them down. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Let's put our fender liner back in. I'm going to use a trim tool. Just get it on the inside lip. Make sure this part is fed in and under or above the bumper. Now we can put our push pins in. Fasten it with the push pins. Now do the same on the other side. To install your engine splash shield, you're going to put your flap inside the bumper. Position it into place and make sure you have this lined up with this. Once you're there, you're going to install 1 bolt to hold it in place. and then install the rest. Now you can do your 2 side bolts, one on this side and one on the other. And now you're going to put those 2 in on the other side as well. Let's put this piece back. To do that, you're going to slide it into the 2 notches on the grill. It should pop in. There you go. One side and the other. Once it's in the 2 notches, you're going to put your bolt in. Ours only had 1 bolt. We're not sure what was in the other side. I'm just going to use a push pin to secure it after I tighten this up. And that'll just lock it in place. Now we'll put our plastic shield on. I'm going to line it up with this hole. Our vehicle is missing several pieces and parts. There should be plastic pieces here that you need to attach. We don't have those. Now we're going to put our plastic push pin in here. And we can put all our engine cover back on. And if you have your plastic shields here to go over the headlights, do that as well. We're going to attach our cable into our holder. There's a spot here and one on the other side. And also in the middle. This is broken for us. Attach our cable here as well. This hose goes right in here. And this should be attached to this. Now you can put your engine cover on and whatever else there is covering the headlights. Now we're going to install our airflow tubes. Notice where the curve is and line it up accordingly. And then push it onto here. Yours should line up, ours doesn't. Do the same on the other side. Make sure you put your tube back on. Slide it on. And now we can put our last cover on. There should be 2 clips here. We only have 1. And there should be 2 grommets that fit into these 2 spaces. Line things up. You're going to see 2 slits here that fit into that groove. Like that. Should snap into place. And you're good to go. Make sure you get your AC system recharged and checked for leaks.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.